Hi there. In this video, I will continue to explain related to the projective personality assessment. That in this video, we will specifically discuss about the projective techniques related to its psychometric properties. Okay, start right now. Okay, I would like to remind you about the personality assessment using psychological testing. It is one of the methods of assessment that we use to apply in psychology fields. Yeah, what is the goals of the assessment, especially using psychological testing? Yeah, that's right. It is used to help the practitioners, specifically psychologists, to make decision in clinical setting, in a health or mental health setting. You know, for example, in the hospital or in the community health uh, uh, agenda, for example, and also in the forensic setting, educational and organizational setting. So it is mainly used to help in making decision, whatever the context is. Okay, and this in this psychological testing, you need to understand that we have two emphases, whether it is the ideographic emphasis or nomothetic emphasis. The ideographic emphasis is very strongly related to the projective technique, that it requires the tester to understand the conceptual guidelines, yeah, and then use his or her experience to create a clinical judgment toward the test protocols. So it is very strongly related to the individual result of the test taker. So we cannot compare solely on the test protocol from one test taker or one subject to another subject. It is very different with the nomothetic emphasis, that the test taker will use the empirical guideline, that each of the tests will provide user with the norms. Yeah, so the user, or here in this case is the test administrator, yeah, or the psychologist, whoever it is who use the test, um, will be interpret the test protocol based on the norm. Yeah, it is also widely known that for the nomothetic emphasis, the test interpreter will use the statistical rule that it is also provided from the test developer. The non-projective techniques, yeah, mostly use this kind of emphasis, yeah, nomothetic emphasis. So we need to define these two emphases in understanding psychological testing. Okay, so for the projective techniques, there are obstacles here from the psychometrician point of view. That first, the projective techniques tend to be subjective because it is based on the clinical judgment of the interpreter. So, and the guidelines is not in the normative form, but it is only provided guidelines, yeah, toward the pattern of the test protocol result, yeah, from various research, yeah, previously. So here, because of its subjectivity, yeah, it is also allow different conclusion to be made on the same answer or the same response or from the subject, yeah, by different interpreter. Administering and scoring requires more training and sensitivity than for a self-report inventory. Why it is happening so? Because that in the projective technique, it is very needed for the interpreter to understand deeply about the guideline. Yeah, so he or she can understand the test protocol and find out the consistencies and then also the outstanding features and so on from the test protocol, yeah, from each of the subject. Okay, and the other obstacle here is the lack of structure. As you've already understand about the projective techniques related to the characteristics, yeah, do you still remember that? Yeah, that's right. Related to the ambiguous stimuli and also the unstructured task that will lead to the lack of structure to be understood by the test taker. So they will just give the response over and over again. Yeah, so it resulted in a wealth of data, but it's quite difficult for the test taker, for the test instructor or the interpreter, especially the new, the novice interpreter. It is very challenging for them to comes up with a specific conclusion of the subject. Okay, the next obstacle is related to the interpretation result, that the interpretation, describe, and analysis of responses to projectives is in general should be viewed as the hypothesis or possibility. So we cannot say that in a firm manner that everyone who have those kind of signs, yeah, in the test protocol, yeah, we cannot say we cannot judge them will always be have those certain of personality traits, for example. The conclusion here that we can provide from the projective test result is mainly about the hypothesis, possibilities, or assumption. This interpretation may seem plausible, but they are based on a large extent of stereotypes or correlation. As I previously described, that the test interpreter should be able to grasp the consistencies of the response. It's quite challenging. That's why we cannot say that the result of this test is a firm result or a statistically proven one. Yeah, because it is not. And the third, psychologists should view both of their own interpretation of responses to projectives and those made by others. Yeah, so the interpreter can make a comparison. Yeah, especially for the novice interpreter. Yeah, that he or she is still in training. Yeah, to interpret the test protocol from the projective techniques. Yeah, it is very strongly suggested for them to have a discussion forum, so they can perhaps also the other interpreter point of view. Okay, and this might by other people. Yeah, okay, we conduct the comparison and discussion, to find out the most reasonable hypothesis, and that may or may not be confirmed by other source of information concerning a person. So that's the process, for the interpreter, how he or she gains his or her deep understanding and also sensitivity to interpret the test protocol.